How are you?
Fine, thanks. And you?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. I saw that you've done a couple of these video chats over the last week.
Yes. This morning I was thinking, what will the future be? Because will we be able to travel as we used to do, or we will be forced in some way to start having this kind of conversation, this kind of tasting, this kind of visits to clients?
Well, first thing to ask is how are you and how are your family?
We are all well, thank you. We are probably in one of the safest areas in Italy, and now we are even very lucky because we are allowed to work,
Yeah,
of course, with all the care, with all the. We had 2 weeks ago a quite difficult situation because we have some vineyards in Slovenia. And Slovenia decided to close the borders.
yeah.
Uh, so for more than 1 week we were not able to cross the border. Luckily, it's a very quiet season in the vineyard. Now since we are not the only one. There are many producers in this area. They have vineyards on both the part of the border, so on the Italian and Slovenian, or either Slovenian producer they own vineyards in Italy. So we have a special permission to cross the border.
So for people who don't know, you are right on the very border of Slovenia and Italy.
The Slovenian border is less than 200 meters from our winery, so
Yeah.
we are really on the border. And most of our guys, the guys working with us, come from Slovenia. At home we speak Slovene. So, 10 days ago, the situation was quite difficult to think about, but
Yes.
okay. To be honest, we are very lucky because we are allowed to work. Despite it's difficult, a lot of other industries, a lot of other people are not allowed to work, so we don't have to complain about this. We perfectly know it. We know that we are lucky and we really appreciate this.
Yeah. And it's quite an important time in the vineyards. Are the buds starting to break out?
It's almost a quiet period. In 3 weeks, it will start being very, very busy.
Okay.
In this week was very, very cold. Maybe you have seen in many parts of Italy we had snow. Ribolla, it's a quite late variety, so we don't have leaves yet. And this was a big luck with so low temperatures. But this is in other areas, they have 2 or 3, sometimes even more leaves, and many trees and many vines have been deeply damaged by this low temperature of snow. So it seems to be a quite difficult vintage since the beginning.
What we've noticed in London, the pollution is lifted, the air is cleaner. Do you think there's any positives that we can take from this crisis about the environment and the benefits towards nature?
I think we should. In every crisis, there is a positive part. It's true that when you are in, it's difficult to see, especially when you think about your everyday difficulties. This should be our main thinking in these days, trying to find the positive part and try to bring this over. The nature was deeply too damaged, and something I was discussing about this with Zeno from Monte dei Ragni, a producer I really like, and he said me that the nature will overcome it. The problem is the humanity will, and it's true. We should always remember this. The nature is much bigger than we are, and this doesn't mean that the nature is not good, or it's will kill us, but we should respect it. So I think this is one of the things we should really remember. How many not necessary things we use every day, how many things we waste, how much energy we waste. All these things were just normal for us. Are they really, really necessary once we are in such a trouble? Which doesn't mean the future or the progress is not good. The progress has to come. We need much more new things, but we have even to understand which are necessary, which are positive, and which are just a waste of money. Remember, money is your time. It's not really important how wealthy you are, how much time you need to earn some money. It's much more important how much time you invest in everything you buy. And if people would start thinking in this way about the expenses, I think there will be an important change. I see a lot of restaurants, especially small independent restaurants, they are in big troubles. Wine shops, but even groceries or small producers, farmers, they are in big troubles. And I think that we really need to consider in a different way who we are supporting when we buy.
Yeah.
You know, Slow Food always said that l'acquisto agricolo è un atto politico. Buying, it's a political act. It's not about being conservative, or it's just about being humans.
It really is a time for us to reflect and really consider how we live, and are we living in a sustainable way, which we weren't. And I think a lot of people will probably be reflecting on those issues for sure.
Often we never decided to live like this. It's not nowadays. It's easy to refuse everything we had, but how often you just start the first step and in a few months you don't know how you are on the 25th, on the 54th. Okay, just stop. Now we have the opportunity, or we are obligated. We have to stop. Just think if the first step was really what you wanted to have. Think if what you are doing is really what you wanted to do. And if not, try to figure out a way to live in your own way.
I mean, how else has this affected your day-to-day work? And are you finding yourself more busy dealing with all your distributors and figuring out what the next steps are? Or are you having to find ways to do new things from home?
Yes, most of the distributors are now trying to figure out what is happening in their own country.
Yeah.
And they are so busy that we just emailed, and just to be sure they all are safe, they all are dealing in some way with this situation. What will be next, I don't know yet. Yeah. What I have seen is that the eastern part of the world is slowly trying to restart or trying to restore a kind of normal life.
Yeah.
I think they are something like 2 months in advance compared to Italy.
Yeah.
It means that US is now approaching what we had mid-February. And so I think I am in a really particular situation because I have both of the sides. I can see both of them, and it's very interesting from a economical view to be able to consider something like this. I was supposed to have a quite long trip in Asia in May. Okay. I don't know if I guess I will stay in Oslavia, but I still have to see how to manage it, and this is what I told you before. All the work will be reorganized, and we still have to figure out exactly how to do it. In Italy, the sales are almost stopped, even because we used to sell a lot to restaurants or wine shop. The only ones they are working are the ones they are able to deliver, or the online shops. They are still able to work, so they need a little bit more help, because sometimes people they buy this kind of wines never tasted them, and they are a bit confused, or they need a little bit more help to approach the wine. So I would say that the first week we had a lot of works to finish in the office, but once we finished the works, we were not able to manage in the everyday work. We were quite bored, and then slowly a lot of different emails started coming. So what would you suggest to pair with this wine? Or I opened the bottle, what do you think I should do? How to serve the wine? So a little bit more small service, like a table service, but it's funny, it's nice, and give us always the opportunity to deal even just 5 minutes with people. They are probably in a worse situation than we are, because people they just live in a flat, they can't go outside, and bringing them a smile, or it's a big privilege. We all are cooking much more in Italy. A lot of people are making jokes about the bread, because everyone here now is the master of bread making, and for sure this will be will go over once we will restart going to normal life, which will be completely different from the previous one. But I think this will give us even the knowledge to understand what we are eating, because we see people they complain about the cost of a well-made bread, or a bottle of wine, or just a cabbage. Okay, produce it, make it, and then we can
see what discuss. It takes.
And I think people will care a little bit more. Or it's not about caring, it's not about being stupid, it's just people don't know. And if you don't know, it's easy to misunderstand or misinterpreting things you made. Of course, I'm speaking a lot about farming because it's what I know. In other industries, in other production, we will be the same. And I think we have really to care a little bit more about everything.
If you were going to open 2 wines from Gravner this evening, white and red, what would you choose?
Okay.
We had the 1998, by the way. It was spectacular. 22-year-old.
But this is what a wine should be.
Yeah.
I was just discussing before with a friend. We release wines only when they are ready.
Yeah.
Because this is something we should do. It's like going in a restaurant. They don't bring you the raw steak and okay, just have it.
Yeah.
But it's the same. Because some people are able, they have the room, they have a proper cellar, and they can buy wine and store it for a long period. Most of the people around the world, they don't have this opportunity and this room. So when we release a wine, the wine should be ready for the man.
And for those who don't know, you don't release the wines for 7 years.
Yeah, we bottle the wines 7 years, and in the 8th year of life they are. This is for the normal wines. Instead of reservas, they are released after 14 years. I have never been a big fan of Ribolla 2009. I don't know why. It's a very good one, but I felt suddenly in love with the 2010. And 2010, very teeny, elegant, was always my preferred until few days ago.
Okay.
And we had Ribolla 10 or Ribolla 9, and by mistake, it's not a terrible mistake, but mistake, I poured myself some 2009, and it was wonderful. You see, we should sometimes just change the glasses we wear in order to see a different way. So this evening I would open a Ribolla 2009. And for the reds, Rosso Breg 2004.
Rosso Breg 2004, okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mateja. Laura will come and say hi.
But how is Josko? How is Josko?
He's in the vineyard, and until he's in the vineyard, everything is okay.
Oh, good to hear that.
Yeah. Send our regards, please.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, thanks,
Ciao.
Mateja.
Ciao.
Talk to you
Ciao.
soon.
Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.